DJ Burns Jr. The conversation on the internet is immediately like, NFL GMs love this guy. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, he's going to be an NFL guy. He's going to play left tackle. Does he have the NBA is not a DJ BJ place? Do we not think that he's going to be able to be a professional basketball player? And have you talked to any of the NBA people about what's going on in March Madness? Are they paying attention to who's potentially going to be the guy?
You know, a player like with his stature, the way he's built, I mean, a lot of his game is going to have to be on development. Like he's going to have to develop in the proper, I think the shape it'll be curious. Like, I don't know if is he a 4? Can he play? Can he shoot? Can he play the 5? At the NBA level now, more and more you're seeing guys space the floor. You're seeing up-tempo style, guys playing faster. So I think for him, development's going to be big. I mean, obviously he's got a very, very unique build. He's able to do very well along with Zach Edey at the NCAA level. But for them, the biggest thing is going to be now in today's NBA, how fast-paced the game has become. Guys at that position, they're stretching the floor, they're shooting, they're running, they're going coast to coast. It's just going to be about if he can keep up at that level. But listen, I mean, teams are definitely going to scout him. You know, we'll see if where he's at in the process. And if I am curious, does he look into the NFL? Like I think those questions definitely have to be asked.
I think NFL people are very excited about the possibilities because he appears to be an absolute dog mentally, and then physically he is a weapon. You can't let him.
No.
Once it gets right here, it's over. Right here. And then it's happening. It's over. It's been fun to watch. Let's talk NBA, shall we, Shams? I heard the other day somebody was surprised, and I think it was the internet, said, LeBron James is almost done? Whoa. Well, this is his 21st year. He's almost 40 years old. He's almost done. Here's LeBron James talking about his future, and it's not that long.
Not very long. I'm on the other side, obviously at a hill, so I'm not going to play another 21 years. That's for damn sure. But not very long. I don't know when that door would close as far as when I retire, but I don't have much time left.
Thanks, LJ.
He's icing those tires on the 2003 Escalade, getting the ice off the feet there. But obviously, he doesn't have much time left. Is there any clarification or idea of when it is? Because he wants to play with his kid, right? Is that this year? Is that next year? Do you have any thoughts on all of that? And what are we looking at here for LeBron, you think, going forward?
Yeah, Pat, most people I talk to around LeBron James, about LeBron James, 1 to 2 more years is definitely the expectation that LeBron James is still going to play another year or two. But it's obvious. I mean, based on his comments, he's at the end of the road. And for players of LeBron James's stature, it's hard to come to grips with the reality of retirement. And I spoke to Rich Paul actually today about LeBron James, his future, and the openness that LeBron James is talking with about retirement and about being at the end of the road. And Rich Paul told me it's like landing a plane. You don't just land right away. When you're 45 minutes out, when you're about to descend, there's a warning. There's a little bit of an announcement. And I think that's where Rich Paul kind of said this is at. It's about 45 minutes away. It's definitely descending. And oftentimes, like Rich Paul told me today, everyone around LeBron James, their whole life has been about him, whether it's his kids, his 2 boys who are now grown up, his daughter, who's obviously very unique, Zuri. She's a star in her own right. His wife, Savannah, she's been with him since high school. And everything has been around him. Everyone around him has revolved their life around him. And I think it's some level of selflessness, understanding that this time it's going to come up to a close here very soon. I mean, it's reality. He's 39 years old, 21st NBA season. Honestly, he could have retired a couple years ago, 3 years ago, if he really wanted to. There's not really much for him. He's already won a champion. He's won 4 championships. He won obviously the 2 in Miami. He won 1 on his own in Cleveland, another one on his own in LA. He's proven that all-time leading scorer in NBA history. So not much like tangibly for him to prove, but clearly he still loves the game, still wants to win a ring in LA. But I still think people around him, people around the league still believe he's going to play another 1 or 2 years. But beyond that, I'm not so sure. Okay, that's big news, I feel like. We're getting a little bit of a declaration of this entire thing. It'll be a sad day. It's like landing a plane, Pat. Like that's what Rich Paul told me. It's like landing a plane. Yep. He's at about the 45-minute
Haven't put the landing gear down yet.
Well, yeah, how long's the flight?
It's L.A.
Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet. I mean, we don't know how long the flight's probably been. This is across country. This is
60
hours. I'm waking up probably 5-10 minutes to get ready for landing.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I got going on.
Mm-hmm.
They're
I
collecting
mean, this
the
is year
food.
21. What are we comparing that to? Is that like a 12-hour flight?
It's like
14-hour
China to New
flight?
York City,
yeah,
probably.
16-hour
Tokyo
flight.
to LA.
Yeah, it feels like we're going to Japan there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like we're going to
Yeah,
Japan.
yeah. It's a long flight, and he's on that trek now. But I mean, clearly,
45 minutes, though,
night?
to Japan, you feel like you're already there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I assume he feels like we're already going down for landing.
Yeah.
Because I already had my full sleep in the pod
Right.
twice.
Yep, had
I
my meal.
Watched The Godfather 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Maybe took some sort of gummy or 4.
Ambien.
Talk to everybody.
I really hope you didn't eat what Dan ate, though.
See, you did think he farted. You were trying to do the whole, I want a context thing. He farted all over our show.
I do need context. I mean, you never know. He might have had beans. You know, there's a lot of entry points. You know, to give Dan a way to understand.
Sean, so what you're saying?
Understanding,
You're saying
sympathy.
You're saying beans, the magical fruit. The more you
Could
eat,
be.
the more you toot. Is that what you're saying, Sean?
It's I don't know if it's scientifically proven, but I have heard the theory. Yes.
Well, he was also eating hard-boiled eggs, drinking coffee, and a glass of milk.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
It's like, no wonder.
that's
You
going
do
to get
the
the
math.
job done.
No wonder, Dan, you're pooping all over everything. Okay, so LeBron doesn't have a landing gear down yet, but we certainly got the runway in sight, and we're talking about everybody needs to put the tables up and go ahead and lift your back up to
He did just
upright.
have 40 points against Brooklyn, though. So, like, on the court, I mean, the level he's playing at, and I think he's shooting 41% from 3. It's pretty remarkable. Like, when I first started paying attention to basketball, really following basketball, mid 2000s, as we got into 2010 and 11 and 12, I mean, the big knock on LeBron James was his jumper, that he wasn't a good shooter. Like the Spurs during the 2007 finals, they gave him so much space that literally the game plan for LeBron James was let him shoot. And now the way he's able to, so late in his career, change his game, where he's now he's a lethal 3-point shooter now. Like, he is making them. It's a surprise when he misses. So late into his career, I don't know if you can compare him to Jason Kidd or what, but the way he's been able to develop his game, mature his game year after year after year, still have the athleticism to go coast to coast, dunk whenever he wants in the fast break. He's got a lot left. And so even whenever he does retire, whether it's in a year or 2 years, he's obviously going to still have some stuff left in the tank. But when it's time, it's time. And I think him speaking about it, he's normalizing it for himself and everyone around him.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, it's going to be sad to see it over. He also assists a lot.
Oh, yeah.
He's like Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
kinda,
He's on
yeah.
like Wayne Gretzky.
Rebound.
Caitlin Clark. All that. Caitlin.
Same echelon.
I saw somebody, Rob Carter said Caitlin Clark needs to go to the NBA, not WNBA.
Oh,
Really?
Who said
Have you heard about
Okay.
that? Have you talked about that at all,
Is
Sean?
the man.
Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever, soon come. I know you're excited.
We got season tickets.
Damn right.
Is the man in Indy going to be Anthony Richardson, Tyrese Halliburton, and everybody going to check out the Indiana Fever? I think so.
Definitely.
I think so. Go ahead, AJ Hawk.
Shams, one more thing on LeBron. Once he does land that plane and he is done playing basketball, is he going to own a team? Like, what's he going to do? Do you have any kind of insight on what his future looks like? Because it feels like he's going to own maybe multiple teams in different leagues.
AJ, his goal has always been own an NBA team. At least the last few years, his goal has morphed into own an NBA team and own that team in Las Vegas. He's been open about it. He's talked about it. I think behind the scenes, internally, around him, he's continued to game plan around that. We'll see where the NBA stands on that process. I still think it's a few years out, definitely after the media rights deal over the next year or so. But I definitely think that's a vision of his. Obviously, with Spring Hill Media, that company is obviously doing a lot of different projects off the court, documentary. They've got this Netflix series, this NBA-focused Netflix show that they're doing as well now. So there's a lot that's involved. But I think LeBron James is going to be able to do whatever he wants at the end of the day once he retires. But I do think his focus has been that Las Vegas team.
I think he was rapping a song the other day.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw, Shams. If you broke any news, there might be some champagne poppies. Not necessarily as pumped with where the allegiances were drawn. I saw people liking posts and stuff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
K Dot comes out.
Look out.
Red Dot. LeBron's singing at a wine party too.
Yeah.
Videos
Couple
in
of his
here.
favorite parties.
They do a party.
Not
His
the one.
friends, yeah. There's
Yeah. No party
been
like that.
famous
Which
for
parties are we talking about right now? Which parties are we
Talking about Shams.
Ain't
What are you
no
talking
party.
about? What are you talking about?
I'm just listening to what you guys are talking. You guys
play dumb Shams. Okay, love that. D-But's got a question for you, Shams.
Yeah, ask you about Ant-Man and his squad. We had Perk here last week, and he said they got the best defense in the league. What do you say defense is like?
They're on your ass like back pockets.
On your ass like back pockets. We know Ant-Man is a superstar, probably future one of the faces of this league. Do you think they have enough to actually make a run, not in that Western Conference, but in the finals to win it all?
I do think they have enough because this team has all the ingredients that it takes. You have a veteran point guard, Mike Conley Jr., obviously Anthony Edwards. He's one of the faces of the NBA already. I think that's fair to say. He's a guy that I was talking to his business manager, Justin Holland, the other day. And when you talk about Anthony Edwards, he's a guy that's going to be a candidate to be on Team USA coming up. And Justin Holland, his business manager, told me we're not just trying to just go to Team USA to sit there on the bench. Just from a competitive level, obviously he would if he has to, but from a competitive level, he wants to go in there and he wants to start on that team. Like that's the way he's wired. That's where his competitive juices are at. And that's a team that's going to have the likes of LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Jason Tatum, tons of big name Hall of Fame type of guys.
Yes.
That's where his competitive juices are at. That's where his mindset's at. And I think we've seen that transform itself around this Timberwolves team. Like, their spirit ever since he's taken this step over the last year or two, you can just feel that aura around the organization. Rudy Gobert trading for him, a couple summers ago, he's been massive for them. And then Karl Anthony Towns, all-star caliber year, he kind of went under the radar. How selfless he was, allowing Anthony Edwards to be the face of this team after Karl Anthony Towns was the face year after year after year. And now he's out with a torn meniscus, but there is optimism. He could be back before the end of the regular season, which is good news for the Timberwolves. But even still, they're geared up. If you think about last year in the playoffs, they gave the Denver Nuggets a pretty competitive first-round series. They're probably the most equipped team to beat a team like Denver just because they've got the size, they've got the wing depth. Jaden McDaniels on the wing, great. I think I came on. We were talking about Jaden McDaniels, and he got $136 million.
That's right.
Jesus.
We had to educate the PMS family about Jaden McDaniels. He's been a great defender for them.
Great defender.
Great two-way player. And I think this team does have the ingredients to potentially make noise.
Hey, let's talk about Team USA a little bit more. Tone Diggs has a question for you.
Yeah, Shams, I believe this guy is going to play for Team USA. Correct me if I'm wrong. But also he may return to the 76ers tonight, I believe you reported. Joel Embiid and the Sixers. Terrible when he does not play. Does everyone in the league think he has a chance now that he's back going forward for the playoffs? Can they compete with the Celtics?
I think that everyone knows if Joel Embiid is coming back now and feels like he's 100%, it's because he truly has put in the time rehabbing. And when Joel Embiid wants to step back on the floor, he wants to be Joel Embiid. He does not want to be a guy that's a shell of himself, especially after taking 2 months off this late into the year. I think his mindset, he knows his body. He's so smart about his body. When I talk to people around Joel Embiid, like he's been through so many different injuries. He has such a great understanding about his own body and the temperament of when he's ready, when he's not ready. And so when he steps back on the floor, I have no doubt in my mind, of course, could there be a minutes limit or ramp up period? Of course, but he's going to be ready. And yeah, like you said, I mean, looking at it now,
thanks, Shams.
They're 11-18. 11-18 without him since January 30th, going into tonight's game. They're 26-8 with him in the lineup this season. So they need him. He knows it. He's very close to a comeback. It could be any day now. It could be tonight. It could be they play Thursday in Miami. They play Saturday in Memphis. They play Sunday in San Antonio. I think the expectation, the hope is one of these games this week, Joel Embiid's going to wake up and say he's ready. But he's been doing 5-on-5, and
we know
people,
that's big.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
People that have seen him on the court, they look at him, they see a healthy Joel Embiid. It's really up to him, from everything I'm told at this point, whenever he feels like he's ready to go.
Even if Embiid doesn't come back, which we're hoping he does, don't be bummed out, Philly. Roman Reigns and The Rock are coming to town.
That's right.
Okay, this weekend, WrestleMania, live from Philly. The Link. I think it's going to be like 50-some degrees.
Ooh.
It might be like perfect.
Love that.
Baby.
It might be actually perfect out there. I'm not even going to say the word, but obviously open stadium.
Right.
So we don't need any.
We don't need any of that.
No. It's happening now for that reason.
Rhymes with pain.
Yeah, don't need it. There will be pain.
there will be a lot of pain.
Yeah, it's bloodline rules, brother. We know.
Well,
that.
we don't know if it's bloodline.
We'll find
rules.
out.
We'll find out on Saturday night.
I'm just going to assume it's bloodline rules.
Connor has a question for you, Sean.
Yeah, Sean.
Speaking of bloodline rules.
Yeah, truly, a man that plays by bloodline rules, Draymond Green. Now, obviously, what he does on the court, that is what it is. That's who he is, whatever. But is this it for him? Is this his last year in Golden State? Would you say? We all know that you are basically the right-hand man of the Warriors ownership. So are you kind of hearing that maybe after this season, they keep Steph and they rebuild around him, and maybe some of these other cornerstone pieces, Clay and Draymond, maybe on the move to other spots? Is that what you're hearing, or what's the situation here? Because he was making Steph Curry cry, Sean.
Guy was crying.
Yeah.
Wait, BC, who's right hand? You saying Draymond is right hand?
No, you're like the Warriors' right-hand man.
Yeah.
That's right.
Why am I the Warriors right hand man?
You break all the news about the Warriors all the time.
Yeah, we
I'll
hear.
take it. I'll
we
take
hear.
it.
You're
I'll
the
take it. I'll
voice.
take it.
Aren't you the voice? Steve Kerr says.
Yeah.
Sean Charania said it.
Yeah.
That's coming from my mouth.
Boom.
You know what he said?
I think he was a little perturbed about a lineup adjustment getting out there.
Exactly. Yeah. You know stuff before he does.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about.
I understand it. I don't think this is Draymond Green's last year. He's on I think next year he'll be entering year 2 of a 4-year, $100 million deal. I think Draymond Green very much wants to retire a Warrior. I think the Warriors want him to retire as a Warrior. Obviously, he's been through a turbulent season, and there's been a lot of ups, lot more downs this year for Draymond Green. Obviously, between the multiple suspensions, but we saw him the other night. What do you have? 20, 10, 6 assists,
balling,
couple steals. When Draymond Green is on the floor this year, his impact has been immense. And his relationship with Jonathan Kuminga, we've seen it develop. And Jonathan Kuminga is the one rising young player on the Warriors that him, Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, they've all embraced the way he's risen to that status in a way that they didn't really embrace the Jordan Poole ascension. And now you're seeing Jonathan Kuminga, I think, come into his own right. And Draymond Green has been right there by his side, pushing him along the way. And Draymond Green, when he's on the floor, he's productive. And I do think his intention is to be there. The big question is, will Klay Thompson be there? When I was just in the studio in Indy at All-Star, we talked about Klay Thompson, his free agency. Very likely he could test free agency and be a free agent this summer. So I think that's the big question with the Warriors. Will Klay Thompson be back?
AJ's been dying to ask you this. Go ahead, AJ.
I don't know about that, but Shams, Coach Hurley at UConn, UConn Huskies D-Butt, congrats to your squad. Obviously,
Thank you, AJ. Appreciate that.
How many NBA
Coach Hurley will be on the show tomorrow.
Wow.
Shams, are a bunch of multiple NBA teams going to try to throw a bunch of money at him to try to get him to make the jump to the NBA?
I haven't heard specifically, hey, we're targeting him, but I think guys like him. You get the Dusty May in there, who just went to University of Michigan. There's probably 3-4 coaches. Jay Wright is always a guy that's going to come up in NBA circles. Anytime there's a coach opening, you're going to have to check the temperature on a guy like Jay Wright. But those are 3 college-type coaches right off the top of my head. You have to think about it if you're an NBA team, circling in on, checking in, seeing how they're doing. I think it's more of a tracking the progress, seeing how the season's going, seeing how that coach is coaching more than anything. But this summer in the NBA, there could be, there could be at least a handful of coach openings across the league for sure. But the desire between winning, the amount of parity that's in the league right now, I don't know how much hiring right out of college into the NBA. I don't know how prevalent that'll be, but it's definitely got to be on their mind.
Oh, you're saying Hurley can't win?
Huh?
What did you say?
No, I'm saying usually teams that want to win quick. Obviously you're going to see veteran coaches coming in, guys that maybe won a championship before.
Oh, okay.
Oh, like Doc Rivers.
Oh, you're perpetuating the same old head coaching cycle. Carousel.
Of course.
You sound like NFL media right now.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Same old rehires.